only need to earn $9,400. My investments can cover the rest of my cost of living. How is that possible? Is it okay to spend retirement savings now before you're fully retired? This is a concept known as Barista FI. If you daydream about quitting your 9 to 5, but you don't quite have enough saved up, this is for you. Why, hello, my yellow groupers. I'm Carly, a finance grad and the creator of Best Money Class Ever, where I teach how to pay off debt in 36 months or less, invest to retire a millionaire, and stress less about money. Grab a seat. I'm about to spill the financial tea. Are you ready for it? In this episode, I'm going to dive into what exactly Barista FI is, why I love the concept of soft retiring or the semi-retired life that comes with Barista FI, what the difference between Barista FI and Coast FI is, how much money you need to reach Barista FI, the Barista FI jobs that I've had. I've never shared this before. My Barista FI numbers revealed. I'm also going to answer frequently asked questions. Let's dive into it. What exactly is Barista FI? Barista FI is part of the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. It's a semi-retirement with part-time work to supplement what you withdraw from your investments. As a quick recap, financial independence is gained when you reach 25 times your annual spending. This is based off of the 4% rule, which says that you can safely withdraw 4% of your nest egg. For example, if you want to spend $50,000 a year in your retirement, you would then save 50,000 times 25 or 1,250,000. Then you can withdraw 4% of that, which is 50,000. Each year, that withdrawal is then adjusted for inflation. Barista FI says you don't have to save the whole 25 times, but it does rely on the 4% rule as well. For example, Barista FI, let's say you want to live off of $50,000, you would work part-time and earn $25,000, and let's say your investments would then bring in $25,000 to cover the difference. The idea is you can leave your 9 to 5 decades earlier. You can guilt-free withdraw from your investments. Part-time income covers the gap. The part-time work is less hours, less stressful, and ideally more passion or impact-based or fulfilling work. One obvious perk of corporate jobs is health benefits. And that is where the term Barista FI came from. There are companies like Starbucks where you can work part-time as a barista 20 hours a week and get full benefits for health insurance. A lot of people will easily argue that a barista is not necessarily a stress-free job. It can still be very stressful, even though it is a fun job. With Barista FI, you don't literally actually have to be a barista, but the idea is just part-time work with more flexibility. Here is why I love the idea of Barista FI or semi-retired life. Barista FI answers the obvious question of then what? If you do reach full financial independence, then what? How are you going to spend your days and your time? What is going to be your purpose in life? A core principle with Barista FI is lifestyle design. Quick story. I was featured on CNBC's Millennial Money Make It series, and I shared with the entire world my goal to have 1 million net worth by age 45. Months later, I was at a family event and a family friend came up to me and said, well, Carly, then what? Once you have your million, like, what are you going to do? And that's what Barista FI answers that question of then what? I get to hear people in the comments thinking like, wait, $1 million's not even that much. The truth is only 3.2% of Americans actually have $1 million invested. A lot of people have their net worth tied up into real estate with homes, but it is very, very rare. A small percentage actually do have $1 million. Let's say though, for example, you have arguably like mind-blowing financial independence. Let's say you want to have a $350,000 lifestyle. So you'd save 350,000 times 25. You then have a nest egg of $8,750,000. And then what? That's what Barista FI answers is even if you reach this crazy financial independence, like how are you going to spend your days? This is the one precious life that you have. How do you want to live it? And the answer isn't just sitting on a beach the whole time. A lot of times people want to have a purpose. That's what Barista FI is. It's financial independence built in with some sort of work, some sort of job or income still coming in. A little bit about me. I actually love work. My senior year in high school, out of all the things, I was voted the hardest worker. I enjoy getting into something and dedicating my time and energy and seeing something grow. With the time freedom, with Barista FI, a lot of people start a business that is a passion project or an impact business, fun or low stress job. I like the idea of turning your interest into your income. So for example, if you love baking, you can work at a bakery. You love skiing, you can move to Colorado for the winters and work at a ski resort. I will warn you though, when you do turn your interest into an income, the hobby or the thing that you love, it changes a little bit because now you're doing it for work. For others, Barista FI can just give a lot of flexibility. So for example, if you don't want to do a retail or coffee shop job, you can actually do the work that you currently have, but maybe do it less. Go 2, 3, or 4 times a week, do your current job, but do it on contract. Do a year-long contract and then take 3 months off and then go back to it. The idea is to keep working, to have purpose, to have a routine, to have social connections in your life with your customers, your clients, and to do something for this world. Another reason for Barista FI is to help with burnout. A lot of people have very little margin for error in their life. The reality is life doesn't always go as planned. There are health issues, maybe dealing with aging parents, home or car repairs. For example, my car got broken into, they busted into the back windshield and then stole my bike. When you have a Barista FI lifestyle, you have that margin of error. When life happens, you can take off the morning, you can call the insurance, you can wait around for the windshield repair to happen and go bike shopping. It gives you a lot of freedom for life. Barista FI also allows for more family times. I don't currently have kids. Maybe one day, hopefully, if the stars align. You do Barista FI, you could actually create a lifestyle where you take 3 to 6 months off for the babies, or you can build your career and work around a school schedule. You get off of work at 3. Instead of paying for after school care, you could also take generous time off along with a kid's schedule, like the spring breaks, the winter breaks, and summers. This is again, focusing on lifestyle design. Barista FI, Coast-Fi, what exactly is the difference? I just did an episode on Coast-Fi. Coast-Fi is you invest a lot early on and you don't need to save more for your future retirement. You simply let your money coast and compound interest does the heavy lifting. Coast-Fi gives you the freedom and flexibility to stop investing. Barista FI is different in the sense that you are actually withdrawing and spending some of your investment gains. And I get one comment question is that really okay to spend that money? We're going to get into that later. How much do you need to semi-retire? There is a formula. Here is exactly how to calculate your Barista FI numbers. To calculate Barista FI, you need to know 2 simple things. First, you need to know your annual spending, what your expenses are for a year in today's dollars. The second thing that you'll need to know is an estimate of the part-time income that you will be earning. Then you'll simply take your annual spending minus your part-time income and then divide that by 0.04. This circles back to how to gain financial independence, the 25 times and 4% rule. This shows that you can safely withdraw 4% of the difference between your annual spending and the part-time income. Here's an example with these numbers. Let's say you want to spend $50,000 and then you plan on earning a part-time income of $25,000. So the difference would be $25,000. You would then take $25,000 divided by 0.04. Then you would have a nest egg of $625,000. How this works is you would bring in that income of $25,000 and then the first year you would withdraw 4% of $625,000. 4% of $625,000 is the $25,000 you need. You'll be able to maintain the desired lifestyle of $50,000 with your investment withdrawal and your part-time income. What exactly does Barista FI look like in practice? I'm going to share with you my Barista FI jobs. I've never shared these before online. So if you're new around here, I studied finance and I graduated in December of 2008, conveniently when the entire financial market completely crashed. At the time, I had done this crazy summer sales internship. I was selling home security systems. It was door to door. My finance professor said, hey, you did really well with that. Why don't you go out and start a company doing that? Couldn't think of a good reason why not. There was one problem. I had to figure out who was going to do the installs. The heat of first session, I rolled up my sleeves. I trained myself how to install home security systems. I did go from college student to entrepreneur, and I ran my home security business for almost a decade. I had owed about $35,000, but I really wanted to get my finances in order. So I paid off all my debt. I saved my first 100K at age 26. One day I drove to my office, aka Barnes & Noble. They had like free internet. And I passed by this investment firm and I was like bright-eyed and naive, walked in and said, hey, I'm Carly. I want to be a financial advisor. I started interviewing and one company asked, why do you want to be a financial advisor? Again, bright-eyed and naive. I said, I want to help educate people manage their money. And quickly the rejection letters just rolled on in. I learned the hard way in the investment world. They want you to sell investments, sell insurance. That's not what I wanted. With coffee in hand, my laptop, I took what I learned studying finance and I created Best Money Class Ever, which is a live and virtual personal finance class. Best Money Class Ever was my dream job. It was a passion-based business. I was speaking, I was helping people transform their lives, which by the way, if you're like, oh my gosh, why don't they teach this money stuff in school? Best Money Class Ever is actually starting soon. If you want in, I believe everyone deserves a financial education. You can actually save your spot, get on the wait list, and you can take the intro for free. I only do the free class every so often, so the next one is starting soon. Make sure to join. And then in my early 30s, everything completely crashed. I ended up having a burnout. I sold everything I had. I took a month sabbatical in Hawaii, came back, and I ended up buying an RV with cash and an SUV to pool it. I did RV life. During that time period, because of burnout and stress, everything, I ended up doing a few jobs, which these would be my Barista FI jobs. So I didn't have enough at that point to actually live off of my investments forever. I just did kind of fun jobs and what I needed at that time. At the time, I've never shared this before, but I had bought the RV and I was really interested in renovating the RV. And so I thought, okay, what's something that I could do maybe 15-ish hours a week that I would enjoy and that could kind of help with renovating the RV? Home Depot. Your girl actually thought, oh, if I work at Home Depot, I'll get a discount on like the tools and all that. No, they didn't give me a discount. It was a little side something that I did about 2 months. So that was a Barista FI job. I always like to think of Barista FI jobs as like looking at your interest again and finding a way to turn that into income. Another Barista FI job that I had is I went through some very traumatic things, and I found out that movement is very key to healing, self-care, and recovery and all of that. Another Barista FI job that I have, again, I have not shared that I've done this before, but your girl actually worked at an Amazon warehouse. Let me tell you, I was in the best shape of my life. You're literally walking through the warehouse, you're picking items in the carts, you're labeling them, all the things, lifting things up, lots of movement, lots of walking. It was really, really beneficial for my mental health, and it was a little side income. My main Barista FI job is Best Money Class Ever. So I offer an actual class, money coaching for people who want one-on-one. And then I was doing speaking engagements. It was about the year 2020, and I felt, man, for the most of my life, I was a solo entrepreneur. And then now I was doing financial education and literacy, but I was so isolated. I ended up joining a co-working community. I did that for about a year. And then about a year into it, I was like, why not earn a little bit of income from this? So I became a part-time community manager. I ran the co-working space. I was already interested in the co-working vibe, the commute, everything was already in my day-to-day routine. And so I worked about 15 to 20-ish hours as a manager. I got a free membership, and then I was getting paid. For 1 year, I ran the space full-time, and then I also did Best Money Class Ever. Those are my Barista FI jobs. Hopefully those will give you a few ideas. I love financial literacy and helping people turn things around with money. So this is how I want to spend my days and my time. And this is my focus right now. I'm curious, what Barista FI jobs and ideas do you have? Make sure, let me know in the comments below what you're doing, how you view a semi-retired life, what you would do if you only had to earn a little bit of money. Now for the good stuff, my Barista FI numbers explained. Right now I have about $565,000 invested. Here is the math behind how much I can withdraw for my Barista FI. A big part of this is how much are my annual expenses. My annual expenses are $32,000. I actually shared exactly everything I spent last year. I do want to normalize living well below your means. Life is a lot less expensive if you don't have debt payments and you have a plan with your money. During that year, I wasn't scraping by. I went on a trip to Australia and New Zealand, furnished an entire apartment, and I even had a maintenance repair that was like $1,000. Life doesn't have to be expensive. If you're curious and you want to plan your income and expenses for the year, I did a full video breakdown on exactly how to do that. Following the 4% withdrawal rule, that says that I can safely withdraw 4% of that nest egg. 4% of 565 would be $22,600. If we take my annual cost of living, which is $32,000 minus that $22,600, that means I only need to earn $9,400. When it comes to gaining financial independence, the most important thing you need to know is what are your annual expenses. If you don't know what your annual expenses, calculating your financial independence number, you're just guessing. If you're looking for an all-in-one toolkit to manage your money, then you can grab my financial day planner. It's a day planner and financial plan in one. You can track your net worth, create a budget that you can automate, have a plan to pay off your debt within 36 months or less. It even has the finance plan, which shows the exact order of operation to tackle your debt payoff versus saving versus investing for retirement versus buying a home or car. And you'll also see if you are investing a little now, how your money will work and grow for you with the retirement calculator. You'll see an annual report. After a full year, you'll know exactly what your annual expenses are so you can better plan for your future. You can grab the financial day planner in the link in description below. I know you have a few questions, so here are some frequently asked questions about Barista FI. First one is it really okay to spend money that you invested? Like, how is that going to impact your retirement long term? Are you going to deplete the funds? Here I have a chart that outlines year by year what this would actually look like. Obviously, nobody knows exactly how the stock market will perform. Historically, in the long run, the stock market earns about 10%. This will show a slightly more conservative estimate, assuming 8% returns. Year by year, you'll see that I will be withdrawing first year the 4% of the nest egg. Let's say I withdraw that now. So in today's dollars, I would withdraw 22,600. We would minus that, and then my nest egg would grow 8%. You can see here at the year end, my retirement account balance would increase even though I withdraw and took money from that. If it was an 8% return, my year end balance would be $585,000. Then I would withdraw 4%, not off of that 585. The 4% rule, some people get confused on this. You actually only do 4% off of that first year, and then every year you adjust based off of inflation from that first initial withdrawal. We would take the first initial withdrawal of 22,600, and then we'll give myself a 3% raise from inflation for that. The following year, I would withdraw 23,278. My nest egg started off at 585. At the beginning of the year, I would withdraw the 23,278. And then again, we're going to assume a flat interest earned of 8%. The year-end balance would then be 607,515. You can see here, year by year, I am giving myself pay raise with inflation, and then I am seeing my balance still continue to grow every year. In this forecast, this will show then at age 65, let's say that's my standard retirement age, when then I stop my part-time income, and then I would fully withdraw an inflation adjusted amount. So that year would withdraw more. If I live off of 32,000 in today's dollars, 25 years from now, that would be equivalent to just over $67,000. I would withdraw that $67,000, and then my nest egg continues to grow. Crazy thing is with compound interest, you can see year by year, my nest egg is continuing to grow even within retirement, even when I'm withdrawing the full cost of living adjusted amount. If I live till age 95, my nest egg would have compounded to $4.7 million, which is just mind-blowing. What are the exact logistics on this? So for example, this year, if I were to withdraw 4% of my nest egg, that'd be 22,600. A key part of this is if you do want to have financial independence and semi-retired life, you would want to have your investments in the standard retirement accounts like an IRA and a 401k plan. Then you'd also want to have investments in a standard brokerage where you can withdraw penalty free. And I would just simply withdraw that $22,600 from that account. There are different strategies, but the strategy that I would like the most is to withdraw that one set amount annually. I would then put that into a high yield savings account. Right now, high yield savings accounts earn about 3, maybe 3.5, maybe 4% if you're lucky. So that money's in there, it's safe, it's secure. That way you don't have to worry about timing the market like, oh, if it dips, I'm withdrawing this time. You would just pick a set date. So for example, maybe like your birthday to withdraw that set amount every year for your Barista FI. And then what you would do is you'd have that in that high yield savings account. You would transfer over your own semi-retirement paycheck, which would then be, in this case, we'll take 22,600. We'll divide that by 12. That would be transferring over 1,883 per month. And then the remaining that I would need to earn from my part-time work is that 9,400. 9,400 divided by 12 would then be 783.33 cents. What if the stock market goes down? If the stock market goes down, there are different strategies with this. What I would recommend for that Barista FI year is to withdraw less and then vamp up your part-time work to cover your bare cost of living, to safeguard your nest egg, to ride out those fluctuations. Nobody really knows exactly what the stock market's going to do and exactly what life is going to hold in the future. So for me, for example, my numbers would definitely change if I had kids, if I wanted to buy a house, things would be more expensive. The idea with Barista FI is to have a flexible work arrangement. If your life changes, circumstances changes, then you could move your work and your withdrawal with your life. Barista FI is really fascinating in my opinion. When you're taught to save, it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm gonna not save anymore and just let my retirement coast. And then it's this whole other thing to be like, wait a second, I can actually withdraw and spend some of that money. It is crazy. One concept that is floating around on the internet, there is a popular book called Die with Zero. It is by Bill Perkins. His philosophy is to stop hoarding money and to instead maximize your return on life, to enjoy your life. And Barista FI is a way to do that and to spend on what you want versus that delayed, like, I will travel when I'm retired, or I'll start this passion business once I'm fully financially independent. In the example, obviously no one's going to earn straight 8% year by year. I'm 40 now. If I start withdrawing that 4% now and spending it on whatever I want every year until age 65. And then at age 65, if I withdraw my fully adjusted cost of living year by year and I live to 95, I'll have 4.7 million. It's like, do I need to die with 4.7 million? Absolutely not. So part of personal finance, it's not about deprivation. It's not about sacrificing everything. It is about spending on what you want and designing a life that you love. And it's also not going to be happy-go-lucky all the time. With me, whenever I had a really hard time, I was able to pause and take time off and just not worry about money and how am I going to pay for my bills. I am curious and I would really love to hear from you. What do you think about Barista FI? Have you reached Barista FI? Are you comfortable withdrawing some of your investments even if you're not fully retired? Let me know what Barista FI Jobs you've done, if you like the strategy or not. Spill your financial tea and leave me a comment if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify. Next episode, I'll be spilling the tea. I'm going to do a mid-year money check-in. I'll share exactly where all of my money went for the first 6 months of this year. Thank you so much, my yellow groupers, for listening. Every show has a dope name that they are calling their listeners. I'm calling you my yellow groupers. We have slow starts. We get off track. We get behind. We get knocked down. Life does not go as planned. The cards are stacked against us. The hands we are dealt are not ideal, but we don't ever give up. That is where our grit is born. Our trials, our adversities, that is what makes us stronger. Did you like this episode? If so, make sure to like it and subscribe and share it with your friends who geek out over personal finance. If you are listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure and follow and leave me a review. If you've been meaning to get your finances in order, now is the time, and this is the best place to start. Here, you'll overcome analysis paralysis with the finance plan. This is the roadmap that you've been looking for to pay off debt and invest, even if you have no idea where to start and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Are you tired of figuring this money stuff out on your own? You don't need to spend a lifetime stressed about money. You can turn things around in a month, and I will show you exactly how. Best money class ever, my live and virtual personal finance class, starts soon. Think of me as your personal finance consultant to help you get the results that you want. Want in? You can take the intro to class for free. Head on over to bestmoneyclassever.com or the link below to save your spot. You'll instantly get a free 20-page downloadable guide to start the finance plan. As always, remember, you only live once. Be smart with your money now. I will catch you later. Bye.